Okay, here we go. Take two. For those of you who are watching live, or indeed actually if you're watching the recording, because of some technical issues that we seem to be having, I stopped part one of this video at about the half an hour mark, which means that we're calling this part two of my video on the top 10 best romantic perfumes to mark Valentine's Day 2021. And we've done 5, which is great because we've got 5 to go. So very quickly, you can see what we've got here. We've got Madagascan Jasmine from Grandiflora, White from Comme des Garçons, Gallo d'Hermès from Hermès, Seville A L'Aube from L'Artisan Parfumeur, and also the first of the home scents that I wanted to show you. This is the Oh L'Amore candle from Acqua di Parma. I'm just going to go onto the tablet to make sure that things are coming through loud and clear. Fingers crossed, no technical difficulties, says Audrey. Hello again. Yeah, I did check the internet connection. Everything seems to be fine. Really, really sorry, but these things are sometimes out of my control because I have no idea what's happening with YouTube and with the streaming and whether there's 50 million people down the road trying to download 4K Netflix films or something and slowing down everybody's internet. But hopefully this will work. And thank you very much for coming over from the first video, if indeed you have done so. Right. Number 6 then is another home scent, and this is the one in the first video where I said maybe you may want to match your home scents carefully with whatever meal you're serving. This one probably wouldn't go with any meal because it's so strong, but it would make the house smell beautiful. And this is the home scent version of Mukhalat Malaki from Swiss Arabian. Now, I mentioned the perfume oil of Mukhalat Malaki, I certainly have on Persolaise.com. I may have on the videos as well. I love burning this stuff. And actually, I'm not being paid to say this, okay? The brand doesn't even know I'm saying this. If you're in the UK, the sort of nugget forms of this are on sale at the moment. Now this is the sort of wood chip version here that I've got. You can see I have used quite a lot of it. Hello to all of you, by the way. I'm not ignoring your comments at all. I can see them down there. This is just such gorgeous stuff. I would like to get in touch with the brand and maybe see if their perfumer would be willing to do a live interview with me, because it would be fascinating to find out more about their work. Now, by the sort of jerkiness of the speed with which your comments have popped up on my screen, I'm thinking that maybe this live stream is still a little bit laggy, but there's probably nothing I can do about that. So let's just see how we get on, and we'll try and get through these videos, these perfumes, as quickly as possible. So what is this? I have in the past called Mukhalat Malaki the sort of definition of the perfume that you need to smell if you want to get that whiff of being in Harrods when Harrods has been overwhelmed by lots and lots of visitors from the Gulf. So this is your classic, you may even want to say stereotypical, spicy rose, saffron, oud leather perfume, but it is just done so well, and I love burning this in the house. It just makes, well, it sweeps you off your feet. It causes a swooning type effect. That interplay between the rose and the wood, the leather, is just so perfect because the rose seems to have a real lift to it and a real brightness, and yet there are so many interesting things happening in the base as well. Angela, thanks for that, by the way. Angela's saying, I can't see anyone else's comments, but you're coming through loud and clear. I live in London, says Mercedes. Does Harrods sell it? No, I don't think Swiss Arabian are at Harrods, but check out their website, because I ordered a few things from their website the other day, and the delivery was super quick. So check out the Swiss Arabian website. This is just beautiful. I cannot recommend it enough. I don't know why, but I always use candles so sparingly. They seem somewhat more precious. Yeah, I go through phases with candles, actually. Sometimes I just feel like I want the smell to be over there, out there, rather than on me. And Ashfaq says you have to try some Bahors from Junaid Perfumes and Spirit of Dubai. They're fantastic. Spirit of Dubai prices, yes, I was just going to say, Spirit of Dubai prices are insane. I mean, their oud oil, which was very good, I seem to remember, is so expensive. So, back to perfumes, now that we've done our to Homme scents, and we've got 4 perfumes left and about 20-ish minutes, so we're good for time. What did I have next on my list? Okay, right. Now, we talked about Michel Rudnitska earlier in part 1 of the broadcast, I should say now. Michel Rudnitska, who of course is the son of Edmond Rudnitska. Edmond Rudnitska composed Diorella, which is one of the most beautiful chypres ever, and certainly one of the most beautiful chypres of the 70s. And it was Diorella that was very much on the mind of this next perfumer when he made, for Frederic Malle, when he made Eau de Magnolia in 2014, and the perfumer is Carlos Benaim. Again, beautiful, romantic gesture in this perfume. Maybe not one of the better known ones from Malle, but deserves to be really well known because it plays that fresh citrus chypre card so well. Yeah, it's again, it's just so clean. I keep wanting to say it's so romantic, and I think, well, duh, it's romantic because you chose it for your list of the top 10 best romantic perfumes. But you know what I mean? It's like when that's the first word that comes to your mind. And it's got that lovely, lovely brightness of Diorella. IKEA has some great candles in collaboration with Byredo, says Kenzo. I did not know this. I did not know that. I wonder, well, all the IKEAs are closed here at the moment anyway. And it plays that mossy, woody, chypre aspect, probably with the use of some patchouli as well, really extremely well. Mercedes says, I absolutely love this, but unfortunately it doesn't last on me. Have you tried spraying it on fabric, maybe? The ultimate bahurs, going back to Homme scents, says Ashfaq, are wild Hindi oud chips from centenary trees. I have only a few grams left. Oh gosh, that sounds amazing. That does sound amazing. And how to sum this up? I mean, this is just... It's just so optimistic. And you know how, for example, another underrated citrus chypre is Eau Dynamisante from Clarence. I'm just trying to think of how to differentiate between the two. Eau Dynamisante has got that dynamic, zesty, energetic quality, whereas this is more dewy, softer, quieter, more thoughtful, more introspective. It's that thoughtful person sitting at the end of the park bench reading, and you're trying to pluck up the courage to go and talk to them and maybe ask them what they're reading. Okay, it's got that kind of feel to it. Yeah, such beautiful work. And again, I should wear it more often, or I should smell it more often. I own this one as well, says Eric. We're doing really well, aren't we? But a travel spray, all the Diorella references built it up in my mind, and I was a bit disappointed. Oh, really? Well, maybe now's the time to revisit it. So let me label this one as well, in case I forget, because Audrey must have her blotter update. Okay. Next up, we have got another Du Chauffour, and I think it's the only time where a perfume is repeated on this list, okay? And this is from 2015. Now, just by showing you the bottle, you will not necessarily be able to know which one this is. You will know the brand. It's Neela Vermeire Creations. So far, all of the perfumes from Neela Vermeire Creations have been made by Du Chauffour, but this one is, can you see that there? It's Pichola. And this is named after the lake in Udaipur. Again, going back to, in part 1, we were talking about India. I've been very fortunate to go to Udaipur as well. It's amazing. Well, I don't think I've ever been anywhere in India that hasn't completely bowled me over. Has anyone suggested Sécrétion Magnifique? Well, they haven't dared yet. And Pichola, so as I say, Pichola is the one inspired by the lake in Udaipur, and it's, again, if you had to pick one note out, it's the one that's the sort of most tuberose-like, but it's not a soliflor, and being a Du Chauffour composition, through the exacting demands and criteria of Neela Vermeire, and I think Du Chauffour has gone on record as saying that she is one of his most demanding commissioners, editors. This is so beautifully richly complex, as are all the Neela Vermeire perfumes. It's so colourful. It definitely captures the colours of Eau de Pour. It's got that kind of milky, saffrony feel that a lot of the perfumes from this brand have. Gorgeous incense note running through it. That tuberose. Just, you're immediately just picturing the garlands, the tuberose garlands that you see in India. A fruitiness, maybe from an osmanthus facet. And again, you just want to be on the lake, on a boat. Maybe you've just had the most gorgeous meal at the hotel, which is on the lake, or maybe you're about to go there. Actually, I never managed to make it to the hotel, but when we were in Udaipur, we did have a beautiful meal at a restaurant. I have no idea what it was called or which hotel it was. It might have been at a hotel, but it was at the very top in this real fairy tale roof complex with domes and pillars and walkways, and it was just breathtaking, and of course a view of the lake. So maybe that's why I associate Udaipur with romance as well. Such a stunning piece of work, really, really stunning piece of work. And we are down to the final two. One is from, again, a brand that I don't talk about very much, but one is from a brand that we talk about a lot, but maybe not so much about this particular perfume. Let's just see some comments, though, while we're looking at, I've got the screen here. Well, hello from Udaipur, says Mayank. No way! How is the lake? Because I have to say, I wasn't going to reveal this, but as you are actually watching in Udaipur, I will say, when we were there, the lake was quite dry. So we sort of had to imagine that it was full of water. How's it doing at the moment? I haven't spent nearly enough time with the Neela Vermeire line, says Eric. Dhruva says, I'm so glad she has a discovery set. Oh, you mean Neela Vermeire? Yes. I haven't been back to India. Glad to know they can place you back to places in India. Well, yes, they certainly have for me. Absolutely. Oh, somebody's still talking about Sécrétion Magnifique. Well, I'll leave you to that conversation, okay? Neela is so lovely, says AJ. I had the privilege of meeting her at Javoy in Mayfair. Yes, she is. She absolutely is. I'm not even going to ask her if she would like to be interviewed because I think she's quite media shy. And so I suspect the answer would just be an outright no. Mayank, are you still watching? Because I'd love to know the state of the lake. Okay, now we're going to go to 2004 for this, which isn't in this bottle anymore. This was the original bottle for this release from none other than Guerlain. And this is L'Instant de Guerlain pour Homme, and this is the EDP version, so I think the one that they called Extreme. The perfumer who's credited with having created this is Beatrice Piquet. I know that this is still part of Guerlain's lineup, and they've put it in one of their sort of standard bottles together with the bottle that had for a long time been the Ambi Rouge bottle, and that now houses their Vetiver and Guerlain Homme. I was not expecting this, says Kazizi. Yes. I love how immediately people go for the abbreviations. The LIDGE, L'Instant de Guerlain. What is it? Extreme, isn't it? I don't wear this one enough. When it first came out, I had several bottles of it, and I wore it to death. And it's just beautiful. Again, it's the most pitch perfect, sweet ambery patchouli, as somebody's just said. How does it compare to the current version, in your opinion? I haven't smelt the current version. I'm almost too scared to smell the current version. But you know what? I would imagine it may not be that different, because I'm trying to think of what there would be in this that would be controversial or dodgy, that would have to be changed or updated. This is like Mugler's Amen, says AJ, but without the root canal surgery afterwards. Okay, if you say so. One of my favourite anise, says Druba. Hello from Chicago, says Farina. Kind of late, but made it. You're more than welcome. Lisa says, hello. Romantic scents for me are L'Eau à la Rose from Francis Kirkjian and Anais. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is a sort of classic romantic scent and still works really well. Now, how to describe this one? Well, as I said, it does go pretty quickly into the base, in that base of beautiful amber, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually uses an amber base, as in from another perfume, from a base manufacturer. Gorgeous patchouli, but a really, really well-judged incense note. No, sorry, a really well-judged citrus note at the top as well. Smelling it now, I'm almost kind of thinking that it's more like a sort of male Shalimar than Abbey Rouge is, but it doesn't have it doesn't have the leatheriness of Shalimar, so it's considerably sweeter. And what is that citrus at the top? So maybe whereas Shalimar Abbey Rouge would play with bergamot, this seems to have a kind of mandarin sweet citrus feel. But really, really great work. Really great work. And I'm pleased that it's still in the lineup. Woozy says, I know people say Tempo from Diptyque is similar to that. Oh, Tempo is a lot more scratchy, says, because I didn't think of Tempo as being, because Tempo uses a lot of Akigala wood, doesn't it? Yeah, the patchouli here is a lot smoother, a lot more suave, and doesn't have that. Scratchy is a good word, actually. Lemons and cocoa, says Herb. Yes. Yeah, like a bitter cocoa to contrast with the sweetness. Absolutely, I would agree with that. And so finally on this list of the top 10, I'm just going to label this one, the top 10 best romantic perfumes to mark the approach of Valentine's Day 2020. Another brand that has been off my radar for a while. If I have spoken about them in a video, I haven't done so for a long time. I remember I was so excited when this brand emerged. This particular perfume of theirs is not from their original lineup. This one is from, let me see where we are on my list. This one is from 2012. So actually, gosh, to think it's almost, 9-10 years old now. And this is a brand that seems to have gone a little bit under the radar, at least in the UK. As far as I know, they're still doing okay in the States. But I haven't tried their most recent releases, even though they've been quite well reviewed. I haven't been able to get hold of samples. Anyway, the brand is Arquiste. Can you see the name of the perfume there? And this is the Boutonniere numéro 7, Boutonniere number 7, composed by Rodrigo Flores Roux, who has done most of the perfumes for this brand. Some of them were also made by Jan Vanier, but I think of the recent ones, I think they're all by Rodrigo Flores Roux. And let's spray it. Why this one? I think the bottles don't even look like this from Arquiste anymore. I think they're now all 100ml bottles, aren't they? Whereas this is a 55. This one's lovely, says Jonathan. Yes, it is. Susie says, I think you're almost finishing. I just want to say hi from Virginia, USA. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. Yeah, we will be finishing after this one. And Persolaise says, I would love to see you do a ranking of the Dior Poison range. Oh, gosh. Going through the... Well, I can tell you that Poison Girl would be at the bottom. I can tell you that straight away. Let's pop a Boutonniere here. Now, what's this one? This is, again, to pick out one note, this is a gardenia. So I thought, well, we ought to have a romantic, dandified gentleman's gardenia on a list of romantic perfumes. I love Arquiste. I have 3 of their perfumes, says Olfactory Odyssey. Well, you've said that, so you have to tell us which 3. My favourite of theirs is still probably Anima Dulcis, but I do really like this one as well. Alexander, I remember being very fond of, really, really nice, beautiful, cold, crisp leather. May I ask what perfume you will be wearing on Valentine's Day, says Audrey. I haven't yet decided. It'll probably be perfume of having spent a lot of time in the kitchen. That will be the perfume. But let's go back to Boutonniere for a bit. So it is a gardenia. Just that touch of that sort of fungal, mushroomy note that you want from gardenia, but not too much. It's bright, clean, and yes, it's totally got that dandified gentleman feel. The buttonhole association is perfect. Maybe a nice incense note running through here as well. Good use of musks in the base. Sweet too. I wonder if I'm thinking that because I've just been smelling the Guerlain. But just really refined and sophisticated without being too haughtily aristocratic. It's approachable. And thoughtful, you know, in the same way that actually paying attention to what you put into your buttonhole is a thoughtful gesture. That's got that feel to it as well. I'm thinking now of the Martin Scorsese adaptation of Edith Wharton's Age of Innocence, which is full of flowers, incidentally. One of the most romantic films, in my opinion. And this has got that sort of restrained passion, maybe unrequited passion feel to it. Beautiful, beautiful work from let's say that again. Beautiful work from Rodrigo Flores Roux. A2Z1 says, what do you think of Lauder's limited edition tuberose gardenia? Ooh, I have got a bottle somewhere. I know loads of people love that one, don't they? I'd have to re-smell it. Eric, I really like this one. Been a bit side or tried it, though. I wonder if your autocorrect is being cruel to you. Very white shirt, artfully unbuttoned to me. Yes. Tyler says, thank you, Audrey Jane. Oh, okay, so you're talking to Audrey. Right. Time to Musk Up says, gonna wear T-Rex from Zoologist on Valentine's Day. Okay, good for you. I have Anima Dulcis from Arquiste, signed by Carlos Huber, says Jonathan. Fantastic. Treasure it. If it's not too cold, says Tyler, I'll be wearing Diptyque d'Ossant on Valentine's Day. 2 outstanding videos, says David Luke. Thank you very much. Yes, well, it wasn't meant to be 2, but thanks to the technical difficulties, we had to do this as a part 1 and a part 2. So yeah, I should say, if you've watched this one, but you haven't seen part 1, there is a part 1 somewhere, and what I will have to do is cross-link to both of them. But we've made it. We've got there, thank goodness, maybe with a little bit of lagging and a bit of buffering, but we have made it to the end. So thank you very much for watching and for listening. And don't forget, even if you haven't tuned in live and you're watching the recording, please feel free to leave a comment and ask a question. I usually get round to all of the comments in due course. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And heads up for those of you watching live, next Tuesday, so that's going to be the 2nd of February, is our next live interview. And that's going to be at 4:30 p.m. UK time. And it's going to be with Emma Dick, the current in-house perfumer at Lush. So start thinking of all your Lush related questions. Anyway, you be good, have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.